All right, guys. Moving forward, we have three more bits of movie news to cover today. This I'm actually kind of interested and intrigued about. We've been talking pretty much ever since James Gunn's firing over at Disney. He was put on the chopping block unfairly. For some horrible tweets that he tweeted out a long time ago. Everyone knew that he had already made recompense for that. He had already changed his ways. That is not the person he is anymore. And the knee-jerk reaction of his firing at Disney was unwarranted. Well, Warner Brothers jumped on the bandwagon and they said, "Hey, listen, we want to scoop you up. You can direct any movie under the Warner Brothers DC Comics banner that you want. What is it going to be?" He said, "The Suicide Squad." And everyone's like, "Really?" Actually, that kind of makes a lot of sense. And so, was it the Warner Brothers, the DC event, DC fandom they had back in August? They made some pretty cool announcements. We got to see a lot of images. Well, now an official synopsis for The Suicide Squad has dropped officially from Warner Brothers, and this is what they have to say about The Suicide Squad. They say, "Welcome to Hell, aka Belle Reve, the prison with the highest mortality rate in the US of A, where the worst supervillains are kept and where they will do anything to get out. Even join the super secret, super shady Task Force X. Today's do or die assignment: assemble a collection of cons, including Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, Ratcatcher 2, Savant, King Shark, Blackguard, Javelin, and everyone's favorite psycho, Harley Quinn. Then aim them heavily into..." This is a really long synopsis, you guys. This is a long synopsis. "Then aim them heavily and drop them literally on the remote-infused island of Corto Maltese." The synopsis continues. "Trekking through the jungle, teeming with militant adversaries and guerrilla forces at every turn, the squad is on search and destroy mission with only Colonel Rick Flag on the ground to make them behave. And Amanda Waller's government techies in their ears, tracking their every movement. And as always, one wrong move and they're dead, with their hands of, whether at the hands of their opponents, a teammate, or Waller herself. If anyone's laying down bets, the smart money is against them. All of them." So there's the official synopsis from Suicide Squad. Really of Suicide Squad from Warner Brothers, and we get one juicy morsel. We get one big juicy morsel out of this, and as this article points out, at the end of the first part of the synopsis, they drop the name Corto Maltese. Now, if anyone is familiar with Corto Maltese in the comics, that is because there was a famous comic of the Suicide Squad where an entire Task Force X team goes down to Corto Maltese. This like civil war going on in Corto Maltese, where Superman gets involved and nuclear missiles are involved, and there's of course, this took place during the Cold War. So the Russians are, supporting the rebels, and the United States is supporting the government of Corto Maltese. And of course, Task Force X is there to kind of like get everything to settle down with nuclear warfare on the horizon. Of course, Superman gets involved, and he takes a missile and he throws it out, or it takes a nuclear warhead and he throws it away. Just trying to get it away from Corto Maltese, but in doing so, he throws it to another part of the Earth, ready for the Earth to explode in a different part of the world. It's a whole kettle of fish. So that is the big kind of takeaway from this particular synopsis. But we also know that this is kind of like a 70s war epic. It's going to have, like, with James Gunn at the helm, this is going to be, in my opinion, now, this could be a terrible film, but it looks to be like a fun movie. We've already had some glimpses of it. We've had some flashes of the trailer. I'm a huge proponent for Pete Davidson, who's playing Blackguard, to die in the first 5 minutes of the movie. I hope so much. I hope so much Pete Davidson dies in the first 5 to 10. Why do I keep clicking on this? Sorry about that. I hate Pete Davidson so much.
Damn.
Oh man, he and Billie Eilish. If anyone who's been watching this show, you know that I have no love for Pete Davidson or Billie Eilish. Full disclosure, I have nothing against them personally. I've never met them. I have no idea if they're nice people or garbage people. I assume they're nice people. I mean, they're artists and they've won awards and they look like they're having fun, so doing what they're doing. So I have nothing against them personally. I just hate their image. I hate the image of Pete Davidson. I hate the image of Billie Eilish. Anyway, yeah. So do I still have this up? Let me see if I still have this up. The Pete Davidson Deadpool. Oh, I think I took it down. Oh, there it is. The Pete Davidson Deadpool was my running thing to see. Is Pete Davidson gonna die? What's his? How long? Here's a former graphic. How long will it take for Blackguard to die in the Suicide Squad? It's either gonna be 5 minutes of screen time or 20 minutes into the movie. Yeah, I don't want Pete Davidson in this movie because I just don't like Pete Davidson. Anyway, that's a whole thing aside. Greg, you've heard the synopsis, whether you've read the synopsis or you've heard me read it. What do you think of the Suicide Squad? We know that James Gunn is not going to have any connection at all to the previous Suicide Squad directed by David Ayer. Even though there are some familiar faces from the other film, this is wiping the slate clean. It's brand new. It's fresh. What do you think of this? And how do you think the whole thing's going to shake out?
I've been excited since I heard about it, especially that James Gunn is attached to it. He's directing it. When I heard he was directing it, I was like, sounds like it's in good hands to me because we know what he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Funny you mentioned Pete Davidson dying in the first 5 minutes because I remember me and the Camp Nas crew when we first saw the trailer back in August when Warner Brothers did their thing. We were all taking bets to see who were going to be the ones to die within the first 5 minutes because that cast is humongous.
It's huge.
There's no way in hell that is getting to the end. There's no way in hell that the whole cast is getting to the middle of the film. So we was just taking bets to see who was going to get it first. I like Pete Davidson. I think he's cool dude.
No, you don't.
He's definitely
no, you don't. Don't delude yourself.
But he's definitely one of the ones that's definitely going to get axed within the first 5 minutes. But I'm very happy to see a particular character in this film that I wish they would have put in the first one. But now I'm glad that they kept him out and they bring him in here, and that is King Shark. I'm a big fan of King Shark, and that's who I'm most excited to see in action. I was not happy with the whole that they chose Killer Croc for the first Suicide Squad film, and they totally botched that. Hell, they botched that whole film, but that's another topic, another discussion for another day. But like I said, James Gunn is homing it. I'm just waiting to see what it's going to do. It's going to be on HBO Max, I believe, right?
First of all, I
get to watch this at the.
Oh, sorry, real quick. I just need to apologize to anyone who's watching this right now. Greg, your screen keeps resizing itself. That is not me. I am not resizing your screen. It is through no fault of Greg's. That is my streaming software. For whatever reason, my streaming software likes to resize the windows of my guests during the show. So, I mean, there's only so much that I can do about it. My apologies. But, Greg, you were saying, please continue.
So like I said, I'm excited to see King Shark. I'm excited to see Idris Elba as he's playing Bloodsport, I believe. Bloodsport, because let's be honest, that was supposed to be what's your face? Will Smith's character. Why am I blanking on his name? I spoke too much.
Deadshot.
Deadshot. Yeah, that was supposed to be Deadshot. Let's be honest. That was supposed to be Deadshot. They couldn't get Will, so they went with another character and got Idris Elba. But I think James Gunn. What I like about James Gunn is that he definitely gets, any property that he does, he definitely gets to the soul of it, like he did with Guardians, like he did with Slither. If you've seen Slither, great horror film, recommended. He's really good with characters, so it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between the actors. Like John Cena playing Peacemaker, bringing back Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Polka Dot Man. Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man.
Like that is why. Like, I mean, first of all, you say why, but then you're like, well, yeah, why not?
And that's what. Here's the thing. This is what I love about the Suicide Squad 2 film, right? And I feel like this is definitely James Gunn's doing. Is that he went to Warner Brothers and DC, said, listen, this works for Marvel, okay? If you're gonna do anything, just listen to me on this one. Trust that you can make a great property with lesser known characters. And DC has always been kind of scared to tread that water. They always like to go to the familiar face.
They do.
And that familiar face is Batman. I don't want to see another damn Batman film for another. I'm glad that the Batman got pushed back another year. Like, we need a break from the Batman universe. But to go and say, listen, like, it worked for Marvel. Marvel had to make lemons out of lemonade. When the Marvel studio started, they did not have the rights to all the big name A-list superheroes that they wanted to have. Sure. They were owned by other properties, other studios. Sure. So they had to they went to the B list and took a character like Tony Stark, like Iron Man, and brought him from the B team to the A team.
Which at the time, I don't think people remember that at the time, in 2008, Iron Man had no love. Nobody, I mean, like, yeah, you had your hardcore fans, but in general, nobody liked Iron Man. If you read Marvel Comics, again, he had his hardcore fans, yes, but in general, nobody had love for Iron Man or Captain America for that matter.
They were. Listen, they were. Well, here's the thing: Captain America kind of always floated in between the A and the B team. He kind of went either way. But Iron Man's always been part of that B list status, and even forward to a certain extent. When you thought of Marvel, you always thought of the usual suspects: Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Punisher, and the Incredible Hulk. Those the usual suspects, and Fantastic Four. But they was like, all right, we got to make lemons out of lemonade, and they did. So they got the properties to the other characters that they wanted. And I think DC needs to follow that same formula. Just be like, hey, listen, if Suicide Squad 2 does very well, hopefully that gives DC and Warner Brothers, some, courage to go, okay, maybe we should try lesser known characters. Like, you look with Marvel, well, not Marvel, more or less 20th Century Fox when they owned the property, what they did with Deadpool. Even though Deadpool was popular, but let's be honest, Deadpool was popular amongst us comic book fans. It wasn't popular mainstream. And I think DC could do the same thing with someone like Lobo, for example.
Lobo's an interesting character. That's a deep cut there as well. Lobo, kind of like the crossover between what Deadpool and what's his name, Omega Red. He looks like Omega Red, but he acts like Deadpool. Yeah, very very odd. What about the description? What about the Corto Maltese kind of Easter egg or spoiler, I guess, if you want to call it like a mild spoiler?
That was a spoiler. Well, it was a spoiler for us. It was a spoiler for us, but not for the general public.
Nobody's going to know what that means.
Yeah, they're marking this towards the mainstream. They're not, much as the comic book fans, we're the ones that are going to pump this. We have to understand as like nerds or whatever you want to call us, they're not making any of these films for us. Like, you know what I mean? We got to stop getting back. They're not making it for us. They got to make money as a studio. So they're going to market it towards the, general public.
So, hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Luke Skywalker would want you to do. Da 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 dun dun da 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 dun dun.